Today's video takes us into one of the most disturbing family murders in American history. One where a father, admired by his neighbors and adored by his children, became the very person they should have feared the most. What seemed like a happy household was hiding terrifying secrets. When a pregnant woman and her two little girls disappeared without a trace, no one could have predicted the horror that would unfold over the next few days. The last moments of their lives, digital traces, and surveillance footage would reveal a chilling story. This was not a random act of violence. This was a premeditated massacre within a suburban home. And the killer? He slept under the same roof as them. Before we dive into this haunting case, take a moment to hit that subscribe for more true crime stories based on real cases. And let me know in the comment, which country are you watching from? I want to know how far this case is reaching around the world. Now let's begin the story of Chris Watts, a man whose dark transformation shocked the globe. It was August 13th, 2018, in Frederick, Colorado, when Shanann Watts, a 34-year-old mother of two, returned home from a late business trip. She was 15 weeks pregnant with a son and had just been dropped off by her close friend, Nicole Atkinson, at around 1:48 a.m. But as the hours passed, her family stopped hearing from her. She missed a scheduled doctor's appointment, didn't answer her phone, and never showed up for work. By mid-afternoon, concern turned to fear. Nicole sensed something was wrong and went straight to the Watts residence. The door was locked, no one responded, but Shanann's car was still in the garage, along with her purse, phone, and medications. Chris Watts, her husband, returned home and allowed officers to enter the house. Shanann and her daughters, 4-year-old Bella and 3-year-old Celeste, were nowhere to be found, but there were no signs of struggle and no clear evidence of a break-in. What started as a missing persons case quickly unraveled into something far darker. Chris told officers Shanann had said she was taking the girls to a friend's house that morning. His story was vague and lacked emotion. That evening, he appeared on local TV, pleading for his family to come home. But something felt off. His body language was stiff, his answers were rehearsed, and the desperation in his words didn't match the calmness in his voice. Investigators, and the public, began to suspect something wasn't right. Behind the scenes, investigators were moving fast. The Colorado Bureau of Investigation began examining digital records, including phone data, GPS history, and surveillance footage. One key piece came from a neighbor's security camera, showing Chris backing his truck into the garage early that morning, something he never did. Police questioned why he needed to load his truck at that hour if he was simply going to work. His explanations didn't add up. On August 14th, Chris was asked to take a polygraph test. He agreed, confident he would pass, but he failed. The results were clear. He was being deceptive. Afterward, detectives confronted him with the results. His demeanor changed. He slumped forward and quietly asked to speak to his father. It was in that emotional, private moment that Chris confessed, but only partially. He claimed he had killed Shanann in a fit of rage after she smothered the children. It was a lie designed to shift the blame. That story collapsed almost immediately. Detectives didn't believe it, and neither did forensic evidence. GPS data from Chris's truck revealed that the morning after the murders, he had driven to an oil work site owned by his company, Anadarko Petroleum. A cadaver dog later alerted to the scent of human remains inside his truck. It was becoming clear this wasn't a spontaneous act. It was planned. If you are still with us, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Investigators searched the oil site. What they found was horrifying beyond words. Shanann's body had been buried in a shallow grave. A few feet away, inside two massive oil tanks, were the bodies of Bella and Celeste. Their father had lowered them into the tanks, one at a time, after smothering them. It was a method not only cruel but calculated, hoping the oil would conceal decomposition. Autopsies revealed the girls had oil in their lungs, suggesting they were still alive when placed in the tanks. Shanann had been strangled. These details destroyed Chris's original claim. The truth, slowly unraveled, was that he murdered all three in cold blood, his pregnant wife and two daughters. The country was in disbelief. How could a man do this to his own family? As detectives dug deeper, the motive came into focus. Chris had been having an affair with a co-worker, Nicole Kessinger. He told her he was separated and close to finalizing a divorce. In reality, Shanann had no idea her husband was planning to erase their family. Nicole cooperated with authorities and provided text messages, internet searches, and her reaction to the unfolding case. Nicole told investigators she had noticed odd behavior from Chris during the days leading up to the murder. She even searched online for can police recover deleted text messages and Amber Frey, the mistress in the Scott Peterson case. This added a disturbing layer. Chris was not only having an affair, he may have been preparing to kill long before August 13th. Text messages from Shanann's phone revealed a woman desperate to save her marriage. She confronted Chris about the affair. She wrote to a friend, He has changed so much. I don't know who he is anymore. She sensed something was wrong, but never imagined it would end in murder. She believed they could fix things. She was wrong. The public began to turn on Chris in full force. He had been living a double life, pretending to be a family man, taking selfies with his kids, playing the role of a loving husband, while quietly planning to erase them from his future. His social media showed smiling pictures, vacation moments, and love letters, all a facade. The investigation team continued gathering evidence. Chris's phone showed searches for secluded vacation destinations and apartments for rent. He texted Nickel during and after the murders, acting like everything was normal. There was no panic in his messages, no regret, just cold, calculated steps toward a new life without the three people who loved him the most. In a later prison interview, Chris revealed the horrifying truth. He admitted to killing Shanann in their bedroom while she slept. Then Bella walked in and asked, "What's wrong with Mommy?" Instead of stopping there, he loaded her and Celeste into his truck, alive, and drove to the oil site. Along the way, Bella sang softly, unaware she was heading toward her death. This detail shattered the hearts of everyone following the case. At the oil site, Chris first smothered Celeste with a blanket in front of Bella. Afterward, Bella reportedly said, "Daddy, no," before she too was killed. These final words haunted investigators and were later revealed in court. Chris then stuffed their bodies into the oil tanks and buried Shanann nearby. It was a level of evil that left seasoned detectives in disbelief. On November 6, 2018, Chris Watts pleaded guilty to 9 charges, including 5 counts of first-degree murder, unlawful termination of a pregnancy, and tampering with a corpse. As part of the plea deal, the death penalty was removed, at Shanann's family's request. They didn't want more death, they wanted closure. During sentencing, Shanann's parents addressed the court with trembling voices. Her father said, "We trusted you. We welcomed you into our family. You not only killed our daughter, but you killed your own blood." Chris sat motionless. He shed no tears, offered no defense, and didn't even look at the family he had destroyed. Chris was sentenced to 5 life terms without the possibility of parole, plus 84 additional years. He would never walk free again. The courtroom was silent as the verdict was read. Justice was delivered, but the emotional scars would never fully heal. After the sentencing, Chris was transferred to a high-security prison in Wisconsin for his safety. Inmates in Colorado had already threatened him, disgusted by his crimes. He now spends his days in isolation, locked in a small cell for 23 hours with no access to regular interaction. His mail and phone calls are monitored. His only remaining connection to the outside world are occasional letters from strangers, some sympathetic, others filled with hate. The Chris Watts case also sparked debate around how society interprets male domestic violence. Many questioned how someone with no criminal history, no prior abuse reports, and a perfect dad image could turn into a killer. Psychologists labeled Chris as a classic covert narcissist, charming in public, manipulative in private, and emotionally detached. He saw his family as property. When they no longer fit his fantasy, he erased them. If this story moved you, take a moment to reflect. Evil can hide behind smiles. Protect those you love, ask questions, and never be afraid to seek help. Hit that like button if this story mattered to you. Share it to keep their memory alive. Stay safe, stay alert, and we'll see you in the next one.